TMI, as promised, recently I made walking bassline bass ukulele lessons, a couple of them, and I did mention looking at how to read music notation on your bass ukuleles. This is very much a tester, taster lesson today. I need your feedback because I'm not actually 100% sure what I'm going to do will actually work. I'm going to teach you guys the same way as I've taught for many, many years. This pile of books here, just to give you an idea, I've taught from all of these. Some of them work better than others. Some of them really don't work at all. Teaching bass guitar as opposed to double bass, I always had some massive problems in that when you open up most bass guitar books, there is a huge amount of information immediately. They're trying to tell you, they're trying to talk about note values, actual notation, explaining key signatures, time signatures, the circles of fifth and everything else in a couple of pages. And that is actually a huge amount of information to take in, especially if you don't read music at all. The way I've always had more success teaching bass guitar and now bass ukulele as well as double bass is by using a particular book, and it's this one. It's called Team Strings. It's a double bass book. It's aimed at sort of classical Western traditional music. But it works. It's very, very easy, very straightforward, and therefore this is the way I'm going to have a go of teaching you. There are loads of other ways of learning how to play your bass ukes. I've done loads of other lessons. This is aimed at helping you to read music on your bass ukes. I've always explained to all students, if you play one of the bass instruments, generally it's buy one, get one free. So it doesn't really matter where you're getting the info from. But these books are aimed more at helping somebody start an instrument whilst reading music. Whereas the bass guitar books, it's almost, because there's normally tab and notation, and I'm not using tab at all for these lessons. This is about reading music, but because it's tab and notation, there's a lot of info on there and it's quite difficult sometimes to get your head around. With this book, I've gone and bought a new copy to do this. I'll explain why in a second. Here's my original book. When this first came out, I was straight on it. I was about to write my own double bass method book. These appeared on the shelves and they were exactly what I was looking for. The way I'm going to do this, I'm not going to write it all out digitally and pretend it's my own. That's just not right, and it's, apart from anything else, copyright. I'm hoping this, what I'm about to do, isn't going to be a copyright issue, but basically I'm recommending, if you're interested in doing this, go and get a copy of Team Strings double bass. It's by Christopher Bull, Olive Goodborn and Richard Duckett, and it's by Faber Music. I'll put some links that I can find below. You can get it in most online music shops. I have seen it in the US. I haven't checked many other parts of the world, but I know you can normally pick up second-hand copies of it on Amazon and eBay, as well as getting it in the online music shops. Please feel free at this point, leave a comment if you think it's not going to work or you're not going to be able to get hold of it. I'd prefer to know now rather than spending a huge amount of time going down this route for it not to be useful for anybody. So what I'm going to do is scan. I'm not scanning the whole book. That is copyright proper, all right? But just to give you an idea, all right, I'll show you the first page. But this is one of the issues I've got, is when I start scanning things in, it's too small for you to read. I will take snippets of the book as we're going through lessons, all right? But like I say to all pupils, I refuse to go and photocopy music, all right? They've got to go and buy the book. When you've got a book in your hand, you can not only look back, but you can look forward as well. Okay, so this is the way I'm going to have a go of teaching you guys how to read music on your bass ukes. But please, I would appreciate your feedback and your comments below. All right, that's going to help me decide which way to go with this. So I've got my California U bass ready. Okay, right, start with D. If you don't know the names of all the strings, Great Danes are enormous, okay, or every ant digs graves. All right, so the string furthest from your chin is your G, the next one towards your chin is your D, then your A, and then your E string, the thickest string. We are only looking at the D today. So now you've seen the whole page, we're going to look at just a snippet of that page. All right, so we're looking at music. We're looking at a stave. All right, the stave is the 5 lines. That funny symbol at the beginning of the stave is called our bass clef. All right, that signifies the lower pitch notes. If you think of it on the piano, it would be the notes your left hand plays. The 4/4, 4 above 4, is our time signature, and that is telling us how many beats are in a bar or how many notes are in a measure. Okay, I'm going to try and do UK and American terms if I remember. All right, so the way I teach this to the students in school, and I've done this for D on the bass, double bass guitars and cellos, because cellos have got a D string as well, is you find the D on your mid-da-da-da line. Notice on the stave there's 5 lines. The middle one, 2 up or 2 down, mid-da-da-da-da, is your D string. Okay? And you always pull the string towards you. Don't pluck it away from the bass. All right? So, mid-da-da-da-D. If we look at the way the notes are written out, there seems to be blocks of 4. Now, the notes sit on the middle line. They are coloured in. All right? And that's telling us that each one of those notes is worth 1 beat. Okay, so in the UK they're called crotchets. In the US they're called quarter notes. All right, and it does actually say that in the book, quarter note as well as crotchet. All right, so they're worth 1 beat each. The blocks are our bars. We'll look at those in a moment, but basically we've got groups of 4. All right, so each time I see a black note on the mid-da-da-da line, I'm going to play my open D string. All right, I'm going to try it now, and then we'll do it a little bit slower. I'm going to count myself in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now you might have noticed I was dampening down my fingers on my left hand whilst I was playing, because otherwise it gets quite loud. And if you dampen down, so you're almost trying to stop the note before you play the next note. All right, so they were, if we count them up in their blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We'll play that again a little bit slower, all right? So 16 of those notes, and we're following the notes. Imagine there's a little ball or a tennis ball going along the top, no different to you reading words on a page. As you read the sentence, your eyes move along. Do the same with your music. D, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And stop. Now, if you've just played that on your bass ukes and you've never read music before, well done. You've just read your first piece of music. Okay, so the next line on the page, we're still on our mid-da-da-da-D. middle line of the stave. But this time they look a little bit different. This time the notes are not coloured in. All right, that means they are worth 2 beats. All right, and in the UK we call them minims, and in the US they're called half notes. So we're going to play through it. I'm going to count again, and I'll count to 2 for each time so we know when to move. Okay, count us in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, I'm trying to keep the beat nice and steady. Now again, if we count the number of notes, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. All right, so we'll play those and we'll count them as we go. So I'll count us in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, 2, 7, 2, 8, 2. Now you might have noticed me counting quite quietly then. You've got to work out a way of keeping the beat, whether you just tap your foot or you count silently to yourself, or even using something like a drum machine or a metronome or an app on your phone to keep you steady in time. Okay, so the bubble. The time signature means each bar must add up to 4 beats. We've seen this 4/4 at the beginning of each stave now. It's the top number is important to us, certainly for the moment. All right, the bottom number is telling us what type of beat, in this case a crotchet or a quarter beat, but don't worry about that. We're only worrying about the top number, and it means we're counting to 4 each time. It's actually quite difficult to just keep counting as you go in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, and so on, all right, especially on longer songs and pieces of music. When we're counting, this time we're only counting to 4. The little brackets above mean a bar, not a chocolate bar or a gold bar. A bar, also known as a measure in music, that's what helps the musician, because it divides the music up for you to count. All right, so 4/4 means we're counting to 4 each time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now that's actually easier to count than trying to count each note. I'll do it one more time. So each bar is adding up to 4 beats, all right, or each measure is adding up to 4. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you with me? It really is quite simple. Reading music is actually very, very logical. If you can count, and we're not talking huge numbers here, and you know your alphabet, it is fairly easy to read music as long as you understand where the notes are. That's all it is. So the last little bit of this page, okay, it's a slightly longer rhythm. And if you notice below it, it's got like little arrows showing the crotchet beats, a black note with a tail. All right, but as always, we've got our bass clef to start our stave, then we've got 4/4. So it says play the rhythm, all right? Pulse, clap or beat time. It's very difficult to clap or beat time when you're actually playing yourself. So unless you've got somebody else in the room to clap for you, don't worry, tap your foot or internally count, or even count out loud, or use a device such as a metronome or an app or a drum machine. Okay, let's try it for the first time, the big long rhythm. Now this time we've got a mixture of crotchets and minims, quarter notes and half notes, and each bar adds up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, right, I'm going to do that one more time. All right, but I'm not going to count. I'm actually going to put my little drum machine on. One, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so try and use a beat, that will help, but you don't need to put yourself under that much pressure to start with. Just try playing the lines as they are. Now what I've just done on that one page is normally my very first lesson, and we stop there and the students go away and practice, and hopefully the following week they will have nailed that. They'll know exactly where their D is, and they will understand the concept of a crotchet or a quarter note and a minim or a half note. But it will take practice. As I said, this is the way I've taught many years. It's tiny, tiny little snippets. Now, if this works, if people are happy with the way I'm going to do this, I can rattle these off quite quickly because I've been teaching these, as I said, for a very, very long time. But I will put a bit more in each video than I would normally put in a lesson, all right? Because at the end of the day, a lesson is live. I'm expecting those pupils to go away and practice the work, whereas on a video, you can go back, rewind, practice, and so on. And I'd hate to think of anybody getting bored. So please let me know in the comments below whether you like this way or not. I won't be offended if you say no, and maybe over the summer holidays when I got a bit more time I will come up with another way of doing it. But I racked my brains and thought of different things and ways of doing it, and I thought, hang on, I'm not reinventing the wheel. This is the way I've taught, and I know it works, and it works whether it's double bass, whether it's cello, whether it's bass ukulele, or whether it's bass guitar. We are reading music, okay? And this is what these lessons are about. So the whole point of this, please feel free, leave a comment or a question below. I really would like the feedback for this. Give us a like if you've enjoyed, because every like on every video really helps as well. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on new videos. Thank you for watching.